This is Weirdly Enough, your regular podcast for strange stories and amazing facts, delivered straight to your favorite podcast directory and at weirdlyenough.com. Now, here are your hosts, Andy and Len.
I did start a recording there just a few moments ago, but I said the wrong name of the podcast. I said the name of our last podcast. So this is Weirdly Enough. We're back again to do another little recording. We're squeezed into quite a warm little sound booth here because it's June now.
Flaming June. It's the penultimate episode of this season.
Yeah, season 3.
And it's episode 28 by my reckoning.
When did we go from talking about series to talking about seasons?
Because it's what you do. It's what you call season. You know.
You see, for me, the British kind of sitcom was always 6 episodes or around that, and that is a series as far as I'm concerned. Whereas the American ones are you're 22, 24, and that is a season. So.
I got a book called Podcasting for Dummies.
Right.
Now, admittedly, that was written by 2 Americans.
Yeah.
But it talks about seasons.
Yeah.
We're counting it as seasons.
So it's your birthday very soon.
Yeah.
Just as we're recording this, it's sort of the end of the week coming up. So happy birthday to you.
Cheers for that, yeah.
I wanted to talk actually about. I'll just get this prop here. This is finished now. This is the present you got me.
Oh,
my
right,
birthday.
it was a hand enough, yeah.
The 10-year-old
Yeah.
Glengoyne
Nice.
single malt. Very good.
Yeah.
Apart from this, now is there something you want to talk to me about? The security tag still present on the neck.
Right, was it not taken
On
off?
the neck of no, it wasn't taken off.
In fairness, I gave it to you. It was in a box, so I didn't know if it was on or not. Because to be honest, I don't know much about whiskey. I especially don't know much about Scotch. But my modus operandi would be as if it's in a box, it's probably good quality.
Yes, I think so.
So I would go if it's in a box, it's probably okay.
Smells good, yeah.
It smells good, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I don't know why the security tag shouldn't really be on it.
I'm wondering. Is there something you want to talk about? Little compulsion there. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about what is it, the gateway to hell, or the portal to hell, as I was talking about. Tell me a bit more about this.
Well, we're going to look at a couple of things. Just a quick world tour of the gateways of hell. There's gateways of hell all over the show. Apparently, Fangde in China has a long history in the Taoist tradition of being known as portal to hell. A place called Fangde Ghost City is located on Ming Mountain in Chongqing.
Right.
And the area was deemed a ghost city during the Han Dynasty, when 2 Taoists achieved immortality on Ming Mountain via meditation.
Okay. So it's a city or a mountain, or do people live there, or is it just empty now? Well,
I think it's mainly empty. They believe that the King of Hell was actually living in Fangde.
Right.
And it's actually home to a bridge which is said to connect the mortal realm to the underworld. There's another one in America called Hallam Township.
Can we just stick on the Chinese one for a minute? Because surely different cultures, and I'm trying to be sensitive here, would consider hell in different ways. So, we're talking about what ancient Chinese culture here.
Yeah.
All right. Was that Buddhist, or that was before Buddhist?
Well, that's a Taoist, so I think it's before. I think it's before Buddhist. I think Taoism's native to China.
Yeah,
as far as I know, where I think Buddhism came in from India.
But they still had the idea of heaven and hell.
Most cultures seem to have a notion of hell, but it varies between the cultures.
Right.
I could be wrong. My RA teacher might give me nil point for that.
Yeah.
But I think Judaism is the only one that doesn't have a notion of hell. But I could be wrong on that.
Well, Jews.
I don't think they have a notion of heaven and hell as such.
Right.
Christians obviously do.
Yeah.
In Islam, you have a notion of a heaven and a hell.
Yes,
I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But I remember reading somewhere that they don't strictly have a heaven and hell in Judaism. But I'm prepared to stand corrected on that.
Hell is not entirely physical. Rather, it can be compared to a very intense feeling of shame. That's from Jewish teachings.
So you don't have an actual fairy thing that you go down to.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Which is interesting. Hallam Township, Pennsylvania, is a little known town with the word hell in the name. It's known for an urban legend that claims it's actually the location of the real 7 gates of hell.
Right.
And according to urban legend, all 7 gates are located around the area. There's another place called Beppu City in Japan, which is home to a series of 9 hot springs, and each one flows in a different colour and composition. The springs have been mentioned in Buddhist texts dating back as early as 700 AD, and nowadays the mud from these pools can be bought as a soothing skin cream, and there's a visitor centre, a health spa and a gift shop, which is quite nice. However, despite the niceness, there's a dark legend at the heart of the spa, and there's a pool known as the Bloody Hell Pond.
Bloody hell.
And there's a rich colour that comes from natural iron oxide deposits in the pond bed, and it's presided over by a collection of sculpted demons which are carved into the rocks themselves. The Buddhists liken the appearance of the pool to the bubbling pits of hell, and in times gone by, the Bloody Hell Pond, which they think is about 78 degrees Celsius, was sometimes used to torture prisoners before boiling them alive.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
That's not very nice. I remember you were saying something about there's a thing in the early days of YouTube about the Russian miners.
Yeah.
That allegedly buried their way to hell, and that became a bit of a thing for a while.
It was called a well to hell, and was later found to be an urban legend or a hoax. It was a borehole in Russia that was purportedly drilled so deep that it broke through into hell. And that was first attested to in English anyway in the 1989 broadcast by a US domestic religion-based TV broadcaster, Trinity Broadcasting Networks. So they said that these miners had cut through and found that they'd gone into hell, but that was debunked. And I think there's things you can search for it on YouTube to hear like recordings of what it sounded like and things like that. I don't know how deep this actually. Oh, the hole was 14.4 kilometers, so pretty deep. That's 9 miles deep into the cavity, and that's where hell was. The temperature deep within was 1,000 degrees C. And heat from the chamber of fire. Purportedly, you could hear the tormented souls of the damned coming up.
As I recall, it turned out the footage or the sound recording actually was from some horror film.
Right.
And it was just taken off that. But that was a thing that sort of did the rounds in the early days of YouTube, you know.
Talking of horror films, I don't like horror films, and I don't really like sci-fi that much. But I do quite like a horror sci-fi.
Yes, the old cross genre.
Yeah, and one film that I really did like in the day was Event Horizon.
Yes,
and
it's a very underrated film.
It was supposed to have like a portal to hell in it, didn't it? Yeah. And they you could hear the screams of the damned.
It was really interesting idea, but it was one of these great wee films that got completely kind of forgotten about.
Yes. The other one I really loved was the film, the first of the Riddick series.
Oh yes,
I can't even remember what it was called, but it was good.
The first, the Chronicles of Riddick, or something like that it was called.
It wasn't called Riddick back then. It was called something else. That was a good sci-fi horror, a genre that has this. There was a lot of it kind of in the end of the 90s, and now maybe not so much of it about.
Do you know what's a very good, if you're in the kind of weird cross genres, and it's an interesting one, war horror.
War horror. Yeah.
There's a very good film, and it was actually, I think it was Michael Mann. You know Michael Mann, the guy that did like Heat.
Yeah.
And he did like the first Hannibal Lecter film.
Right. Okay.
Really, really good director. But his first big thing was a thing called The Cape, and it's actually really good. It's about set in like World War II. And it's about these German soldiers that take over like a cape in Romania. Yeah. And it turns out to be there's some sort of demon living there.
Right.
And it's really good actors. It's got like Sir Ian McKellen.
Right.
And it's got like Gabriel.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. There's some really good, and it's a funny thing because the critics always slagged it off.
Right.
But it's acquired quite a cult sort of status over there, so it's definitely worth watching. Like, you know.
Going off on a tangent, talking about movies and old movies. Do you remember Spinal Tap?
Yes.
Have you ever had an idiotic eureka moment?
Many times, yeah.
Where the prime example, Frank Skinner talks about this in his podcast.
Yes, this is a real thing in life.
It's Gary Oldman's sister is Big Mo or Little Mo or Big Mo from EastEnders. That's the idiotic Eureka moment. Well, the one I had today was I realised that the brother in Better Call Saul, Charles Saul or Chuck Saul or whatever he's called, is the Spinal Tap guy as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because I was looking on, thinking, you're familiar. And I'm thinking, that's the guy from Spinal Tap all those years ago. So there you go. Yeah, sorry to go off at a tangent, but interesting enough.
We're all about tangents.
Yes, tangents are where the fun begins.
There's another place called Still in Kansas, and it's located inside Douglas County, and it was a town that was founded in 1857, and it was notorious for being possessed by demonic forces ever since the 70s. Yeah. And many claim that a gate to hell is located in the area. Some say it's in Still Cemetery, while others claim it's by Still United Methodist Church. There's a volcano called Hekla, which is found in the southern mountains of Iceland. It's a fiery pit of lava that has long been associated with the fiery pit of hell. Yeah. In the Middle Ages, Cistercian monks travelled far and wide across Europe, carrying tales of Helglafell. And in 1180, the monk Herbert de Clairvaux named the volcano in his book Liber de Mercallis. He wrote, "The renowned fiery cauldron of Sicily, which men call Hell's Chimney. Yeah. That cauldron is affirmed to be like a small furnace compared to this enormous inferno." And the monk Benedict named Hekla as where Judas was kept.
Right, okay.
For all eternity.
Yeah. Wow.
And in his eternal prison. There's an interesting one here. Have you ever heard of St. Patrick's Purgatory?
No, where's this?
It's a small monastery located in Station Island. Yeah. Which I think is in the west of Ireland.
Right, okay.
According to the story, St. Patrick himself once visited the island, and when he was there, Jesus sent him visions of the torments of hell. And the cave where the saint received these diabolical hallucinations was later confirmed to be an entrance to Satan's pit, and a monastery was duly built to plug the hole. Yeah. Where is I'm thinking, is it Fermanagh maybe? Or
where is it?
Station Island.
Oh no, yeah.
I'm thinking for some reason I'm thinking it's might be Fermanagh. I could be wrong.
Station Island.
Where is it?
Station St. Patrick's Purgatory. Lough Derg.
So it's
Lough Derg. County Donegal. No, well that's kind of on the border really, isn't it? But I think it's in Donegal. Yeah, Lough Derg.
So that'd be the closest gateway to hell.
Right.
Sort of to us, I suppose that would be. I came across a very strange website, and it looks really old. Like I think it's been on the go since 2002, and it's very kind of old kind of design. Yeah. And it's called www.entrancestohell.co.uk.
Okay, it's got a co.uk address.
It's absolutely bizarre, and what it basically is, and it's a catalogue of entrances to hell in and around the UK. Okay. So if you look up the website, you'll find it like it's incredibly clunky and old.
This is the hell. I like an old website. Yeah.
Yeah, it's old school. Like it's web 1.0. So you can actually visit these entrances to hell. Yeah. Or if you find an entrance to hell, you can submit the pictures and like a little report.
It's just like random doors and places.
Yeah, they're all doors to hell. You say.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any in Northern Ireland. It all seems to be an England.
Yes, but if you see one, let us know.
But Entrances to Hell is an invaluable resource for any discerning demon hunter or subterranean hellscape tourist who might find themselves exploring the British Isles. Most travel guides miss out these gateways to hell. Yeah. But this website has I think there's little maps as well.
Yeah,
you can see where's that one?
Colchester in Essex.
And they've all got very strange names. That one's just called B-Said. And there's Quatiquama.
Quatiquama, yeah.
Yeah, where's Quatiquama?
Mansfield.
They're always in these very sort of provincial places. Yeah. In Darrington, County Durham, 23 was a entrance to hell that was used specifically for wartime. Right. Apparently it can be submerged in 3 seconds and has barriers of fixed steel in the approach corridors. Since medieval times, the monks of Burghead Manor have focused their assaults on the devil mainly here at 23, except during heavy rain, when they would prefer to attack the much less important Little Elwick. And 23 tunnels to the core of the earth have never been mapped. Yeah. And then there's the infamous Derrick. That's another entrance to hell. The basic structure is supported by potato cubes. The black cladding which lines the tunnel is compressed potato skin, whilst decorative potato moisture adorns the walls. In May 1997, there was an infamous episode at Derek where the Devil's brittle security expert Poe de Guy Lemu 6 defected to the surface via Derek shortly before opening his now ubiquitous chain of internet juice bars. So it's very strange. I think it might be a humorous side.
Right, okay.
I don't think it's entirely serious. Apparently it's curated by a character called Dr. Ray Gates with help from scientists and experts from around the globe. There's an entire page of letters and emails from readers asking questions like, is this a joke website or what? So we're looking at it now. Is there any kind of impressions you have of it? Or?
Well, here's one that it tells of in the 14th century England, the monks of Bergsgade Minor distributed a CD-ROM to their fans, which warned psychological dangers of worshipping O.
A CD-ROM? And when did they distribute the CD-ROM?
It was distributed. CD-ROMs are pretty old, at the 14th century.
You can't have to. It's a website from 2002. CD-ROM.
They were
Those were the days. Those were the days.
Strange.
What was your favourite CD-ROM?
CD-ROM.
You see it like encyclopedias and stuff in CD-ROMs.
Yeah, so out of date incredibly quickly, weren't they?
Yeah.
CD-ROM. I suppose some sort of game or something on a CD-ROM.
I miss the days of physical media. It's all on the cloud today, so I can't touch anything.
It's great until they turn it all off, and then you've got nothing. It's like Spotify went down a while back. I'm like, I've no music to listen to now.
See, it's funny. I saw this thing at about Time to Kill yesterday, so I was watching this guy doing this thing about old ads of the 80s.
Yeah.
And one guy commented he missed one of the things he misses is the aesthetics of the whole thing, as in the tag. Because he likes all the kind of he was talking about like Toshiba and Samsung and old JVC and old video recorders and TVs and stuff. And they're talking about how back in the day it was all physical.
Yeah.
Everything was physical and these big massive kind of hi-fi stacks and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's like we live in a world where, you don't have that aesthetic anymore because everything's virtual.
Yeah. I remember like it was the bigger the hi-fi you had, the more sound obviously you get from it and all this. Strange.
It's all getting virtual. But there's rules for investigating hell moves.
Okay.
Rule 1, it may be an obvious thing to say, but never try to go inside an entrance to hell.
Okay, right, why?
I suppose it's bad, you don't want to end up in hell. Rule 2, always approach an entrance in your stomach. I'm not sure what it's all about. Rule 3, don't shout at the devil, not even with good news.
Yeah.
Wear rubber gloves for 3 or 4 days after your visit. All entrances are potentially lethal. If in doubt, don't hang about. And then it skips on to Rule 23. In the face of a terrifying global crisis, hide behind the couch. You must pretend both to yourself and to others that the terrifying crisis is not actually happening. If the others disagree, become very angry with them. So I think it seems to be like it's a bit of a kind of humorous, kind of whimsical kind of site.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still been updated because it does look very old, but it looks quite...
Oh no, it's quite amusing. They've got a your letters page.
Oh, can we read some amazing letters?
My office has recently transferred to Crawley. Do you know any gateways in the area? It says we have not recorded any entrances in Crawley, although we expect to be in your area very soon. They also have a mug you can buy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still available.
Can we email these guys and ask for a mug?
I think we're probably best not to contact them in any way.
Would it unleash the portals to hell?
It might, yeah, or it might unleash the portals to their mind, which would be even worse, wouldn't it?
It's very whimsical. I used not to be a fan of whimsy, but ever since watching a film called Sir Henry Rawlinson End,
right,
my mind was... I watched it last Christmas. My mind's been opened to the sort of power of whimsy.
The power of whimsy, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever watched it? Have you ever checked that film out?
No. What's it called?
Sir Henry Rawlinson End.
Right.
It was actually written by your boy Vivian Stanstall.
No.
Check it out.
Right.
I think you might like it. It's very, very surreal, like,
Sounds like I would.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for listening. You finished?
I think we have, yeah.
I finished. We'll be back though with our weird shorts right after this. This is Weirdly Enough. You can get all our podcast archives at weirdlyenough.com. Do check us out on Facebook. We're just search for Weirdly Enough, or we're Weirdly Enough PC on Twitter. Do like and subscribe wherever you can, or wherever you get your podcasts. We really appreciate it. So I've got a few weird shorts here. The first one here. This happened I think this week. A video widely circulated on social media shows a man disguised as an old woman in a wheelchair throwing a piece of cake at the Mona Lisa in Paris's Louvre.
Was it to do with climate change or something like that?
It probably was. Most of these things are, aren't they? He was reported to explain, think of the earth. There are people who are destroying the earth. Think about it. Artists tell you, think of the earth. That's why I did it. He was detained by police and sent to a psychiatric unit for testing.
Do you know what I think would solve a lot of problems?
What's that?
And I've maybe brought this up before, but it's just a notion that I've had. Could Elon Musk, I think, would be the guy to take charge of this, could we not think more about really putting our efforts towards colonising the solar system? You know, getting more folks off world, you know, get things a bit more balanced.
Yeah.
You know, like Mars and the moon and that, like, you know.
Can I choose the ones that go off to Mars?
It's a good one. Do you know what I'm actually kind of think would be a good idea? Do you ever hear the idea of like generational starships?
Yeah.
Because okay, you might not be able to get fast enough, like speed of light and that, but you can get like a massive ship and have like all generations of people like living their whole lives
going to some other planet.
I think definitely need to get behind that. Big,
it's like the film Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
They have a ship that rescues them all like a lifeboat. But I'll not spoil the end of that film. It's a good film, but it's quite amusing. And people across the UK have been taking part in all sorts of ways to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. None more so than the people of a small Hereford village called Wellington, where locals have decorated over 100 royal-themed scarecrows throughout the village. Phil Smith is the coordinator. He said the theme was kings, queens, princes, princesses, or anything with a royal connection. And while most have gone for various members of the royal family, some have thought outside the box, creating a Queen frontman Freddie Mercury scarecrow, and even some based on the artist formerly known as Prince. There's also Fiona from Shrek and a Princess Leia from Star Wars. The Village Fun Week is in its 50th year, and the first to feature a scarecrow competition back in 2006 with an independent judge from outside the village to assess each creation. Mr. Smith said his personal scarecrow featured the Queen parachuting into his garden. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on for the Jubilee, aren't there?
I heard a very interesting thing this morning. They did a thing on the radio, and it was this lady. She'd been, you know, like what do you call those people that carry the train of when the Queen was just getting coronated? Like Lady in Waiting or something like that. But anyway, she carried the train of the Queen in 1952.
Right.
When she was getting coronated, and I learned a couple of interesting facts. There's little handles on the train.
Yeah.
So you just kind of grab the handle because it's that massive and heavy.
Good, yeah.
And the other interesting thing is the whole thing was televised apart from one thing.
What's that?
They cut away when she was anointed.
Right.
With the holy oil.
Oh, yeah.
And made her the Queen because it was such a sacred moment. It was like, I can't really have the cameras. So cut away, holy oil, announce.
Will they show that in future coronations?
I would like to think they wouldn't. Because, you know, you need to produce a bit of tradition, a bit of mystery.
It's probably all on everybody's smartphones now.
But the thing is, you see, one of the key, everybody misses this because everyone says, you know, oh, okay, people talk about the pomp and the circumstances and the service and all that kind of thing. I think the key to successful monarchy is actually mystery.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want them like, you know, working in a factory or riding about on bicycles. Mm-hmm. You know, you want the mystery. You know, that's what I think anyway.
Yeah.
It's my two cents worth, you know.
Talking of this, I think it was the coronation before the Queen. It was filmed.
Yeah.
But they actually had actors playing the king and different things.
Really?
Have you heard about this?
No, I've not heard about this.
Look into it in more detail.
That would have been George the Sixth, would it have been? Yeah, because it was George the Fifth, and then it was George the Sixth, and then it was Elizabeth II.
George VI coronation.
So that would have been 1936 or something like that, 36 or 37.
I think the coronation was actually filmed with actors and kind of it was a bit of a it was like French people maybe that acted in it or something.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That sounds like a fever dream that you had
No,
recently.
I heard it because they couldn't get all the film cameras.
So they got like random French
it.
people to like.
Yeah.
That's the most surreal thing I've ever heard.
I'm trying to find it, but
really
I
bizarre.
can't see it here.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently that did happen. Anyway, sorry, yeah.
Do you ever say this thing that comes up? Sorry, I'm just going off on tangents, but it's what I like to do. Do you ever say there's a guy that crops up every so often that he claims to be the real King of England?
Right.
But it's not like, you know the way, like, usually it's like, oh, I was like, you know, a second cousin of somebody. This is like a guy that reckons he's descended from King Arthur.
Oh, right.
Of like the Britons.
Yeah.
So he says like, well, sorry, everyone that's come since the Dark Ages is basically an invader, so it's actually I'm the real guy. You ever say that guy?
Yeah.
He looks a bit like Lemmy from Motorhead.
Does he? Right, I imagine. Continuing our Jubilee weirdness, sauce manufacturer Heinz has released 2 limited editions of its sauce and salad cream to make the Platinum Jubilee. Bottles of HM instead of HP sauce and salad cream will be available in supermarket shelves to mark the special occasion so that people can enjoy the special condiments at street parties and parades throughout the country. Heinz senior brand manager Ike von Hanstein,
good British name.
it is, yeah, said, this is an extraordinary moment for the Queen and the great British public, and we want to celebrate this with 2 of our most well-loved and historic sauces. Yeah, the historic sauce that they were going to get rid of a while back, salad cream. They were going to rename it as like salad sauce or something.
Why are they going to...
People went ballistic.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
That's one of those crazy things brands do sometimes.
Yeah.
No, talking of strange products for the Jubilee, I was in Marks and Spencer's yesterday. So that sounds really pretentious, but I was in buying... I think I was in buying bread.
I was in Fortman Mason's yesterday.
I was
caviar
I was buying a very
strange
combination. It was like ale, corned beef, and they do like really nice kind of farmers' loaves, they call them.
Right,
nice
okay.
bread, like, you know, but I was in buying that, a few bottles of ale. I kind of have that kind of culinary habits of somebody in 1850.
I imagine your like dining table like some sort of 18th century peasant.
I've got a very kind of
big block of cheese and
I've got, you see, this is the weird thing. I sometimes think I've got like the habits of like, as you say, like an 18th century peasant.
Yeah.
I've got like really weird kind of old fashioned ancient tastes and food, like, you know. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Anyway.
Bread and butter pudding for dessert.
Yeah, I could kind of quite love, you know, quite, and I like big foods of champ and stuff, you know. Anyway, I'm going off topic anyway. The point is this: my eyes alighted on a display of it was like buns and biscuit tins, you know, for the Jubilee.
Yes.
But the strange thing was the biscuit tin. They were like I don't even know how this works, like, but they were like a combined biscuit tin stroke musical box.
Right. Yeah.
So
those kind of
you'd
things,
eat your biscuits out of them, but I think you could press a wee button and it would go round and play a wee tune as well.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was like sort of, and they like patriotic images. And it was like just really random things, like a little horse guard on a horse.
Yeah.
And like a wee Scotsman playing bagpipes.
Brilliant.
And like a beefighter, you know, just stereotypical kind of
usual things.
You know, so you'd eat your biscuits and press a wee button and play a wee tune. Yeah. I was going to buy it for the crack, and then I just thought, no, couldn't really be bothered, you know.
We were talking earlier on about that whiskey bottle you bought me that's now gone. But anyway, the world's largest whiskey bottle has gone under the hammer. Not literally, of course, that would have made one hell of a mess. This was a 32-year-old bottle of Macallan single malt, holding a staggering 311 litres of the spirit. The bottle was called the Intrepid and featured pictures of different world explorers on the label. It stood 5 foot 11 inches high and holds enough liquid to fill 444 standard whiskey bottles. An anonymous buyer finally snapped up the prize bottle at Edinburgh auction house Lion and Turnbull for £1.1 million. That would make each dram of whiskey worth 92 quid. So it's pretty expensive. The bottle was the brainchild of Daniel Monk, son of intrepid explorer Captain Stanley Monk, who explored and achieved many things throughout his life. Don't really know much more about him, and I didn't go into detail. The whiskey has matured for 32 years at Macallan's Speyside warehouse before being bottled, with 12 normal-sized bottles also being produced from the leftovers. There you go. I'm sure they were expensive too. Anyway, we'll be back next week for our last episode before the summer break. I've been told we can bring in games. It's all about shadow people. I don't know what that's about.
Spooky subject. Just on this topic of summer.
Yes.
When's the first day of summer? Is it the 1st of June? Because there seems to be a school of thought that thinks it's like the 21st of June.
I always go by, I think what they call it, the meteorological seasons.
Which should be just by the month.
Yeah. But
and then the solar seasons are like by the...
I always say, certainly where we are in the north of the British Isles, to me, every season kind of starts about 2 weeks into the last month of the previous season. So like the last couple of weeks of August seem quite autumnal. The last couple of weeks of November seem quite wintry.
But then I think towards the end of May is very summery.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I mean, certainly at the moment we're well into the white nights.
Yeah.
You know,
I go to bed at 9, 8:30 quite a lot.
I get this. You see, I don't know if it's. Do you ever remember? You know, what was that thing by Dostoevsky? There's this guy that went mad during the White Nights and killed somebody.
The Crime and Punishment.
That's the one. Yeah, because I think he lived up in St. Petersburg or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like the White Nights, and he went a bit mad. I think he killed his landlady, as I recall. Made a very good dramatisation with John Sim, I believe. But there's I don't know about you. Maybe it's just me because I'm overly sensitive, but I get this uneasiness round about the time of the White Nights. It's this sort of the strange sort of the way it never really gets dark.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the intensity of the colour after the long kind of dark winter.
There's been a few times I've gone to holidays down like Spain or something during June or July, and you go out in the evening and it's dark. And there's like stars. And it's like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. Love this.
And the other thing is, the further south you go, the quicker the transition.
Yeah.
Like, if you know, I remember I went down in France for the first time and it just suddenly got dark.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't have that kind of, up here you get this kind of endless kind of twilight.
Yeah. I find I would be out some mornings and say if sunrise is maybe 6:30, you'll start to see light coming into the sky at maybe 5 o'clock. So you're 90 minutes of kind of twilight. Anyway, probably teaching grannies to suck eggs here by telling people stuff they already know. But thank you for listening. We'll be back, as I say, for the last episode of Series 3.
Thanks for listening to Weirdly Enough. Remember to subscribe to get the latest edition as soon as it drops. And don't forget to leave a review. Email us about anything we've discussed or with your own weird tale at podcast@weirdlyenough.com.